Coming at you from New Jersey, the capital of misery, and the place where metal forgot to die.
This is a special list episode of the hereliesmetal podcast. I'm Samantha.
And I am Maledictus, and we'll still be your overlords for today and all of eternity. Now, down to business. What is this that stands before me?
So we are here to discuss the top 10 underplayed Black Sabbath songs. Caveat, these are the Ozzy era only of Black Sabbath. Now, this is all Maledictus' idea, so why are we only talking about Ozzy?
I want to stick to Ozzy. Like, it'll get too complicated if we do Dio or Ian Gillan.
Also, it's kind of unfair.
Yeah. It's just not.
It's just not fair.
Yeah, we're gonna stick to Ozzy, and I think that's good for most people. I think most people would agree with that.
Okay. Now, why did you want to make this list?
All right. So, I don't know about you, but I've been to playing shows and stuff. I've seen a lot of Black Sabbath cover bands, right? Comment down below, folks. Have you ever seen a good Black Sabbath cover band that wasn't like an official band that tours? No, they're terrible. They're you see them in some shitty biker bar. Like biker dudes screaming, play Paranoid, play Sweet Leaf, and other obvious Black Sabbath songs, and which the band will proceed to play the worst version of Sweet Leaf you've ever heard in your life. My general understanding, for most normie Black Sabbath songs, that fans hate these songs, right? Like these songs that we're going to show you, and I've determined these are the same kind of people that, hate Judas Priest Turbo, right? Is that a good comparison?
Well, we'll see. I will be the voice of reason.
Okay.
I take no responsibility for this list.
No, this is my hot take.
This is all Maledictus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as, I have a lot of hot takes. We'll see.
All right, let's begin.
All right, folks, now for the top 10 list.
Oh, also, obviously we're not going to play any of this music on YouTube.
Yes.
But Maledictus has made a Spotify playlist. If you would like to listen along, you may click on a link that we will put below to the playlist.
Yes, folks. Sorry, I know it seems kind of like why are you doing a thing of songs when you can't play the songs? I don't know. Them's the rules, okay? So, all right, folks. Number 10. We're going to start at 10. We're going to go down to 1. And these are the order that I think they should be in. All right? Comment down below if you disagree. Number 10. Looking for Today from the Sabbath Bloody Sabbath album. This track has a very celebratory sound, right? It's got that clapping, tambourine shaking. You could just picture him in his little fringe shirt there, popping around with his tambourine. It's got a very celebratory feel. It's a very rock and roll feel. There's nothing doom about this song anymore. It's got a very unique pre-chorus that has a very kind of fluty, druid-like Stonehenge feel. That's just a very Black Sabbath kind of getting experimental here, right? And, my favorite part is, I'd say this, the chorus with that sort of descending arpeggio, and it does that until the song ends.
My only thought, I agree. This is a good song. Perhaps it doesn't have that kind of big riff that people like from Black Sabbath. Especially, this is getting away from Doom Sabbath.
Oh, it's gone. Doom is gone here. There's nothing.
And maybe your normal Sabbath mouth breather can't handle the flute. They don't want to think about the last time that they cried.
All right. The lyrics too. Let's talk about the lyrics.
It's challenging lyrics.
They're not doomy lyrics.
But it's a great vocal melody, and it's very dancey. You can do a little shuffle to it. Mm-hmm. It's a great song. Classic rock feel. Mm-hmm. It's a little blues daddy a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. Underplayed.
It's rock and roll. And I would say, speaking of Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, that you could consider that their transition album. We'll get to that in a sec. We'll get more into that later. Okay, let's go with number 9 then. Number 9 is Bit of Finger / Sleeping Village / Warning. All right, this is from the first album. Now, you're not going to find too many songs in the list from the earlier album, but this is one because this is a song that's never played. This is 3 songs in one. The song is it's a long song. So, I'm going to focus more on this part that has singing, right? That more bluesy song, which I think is called Warning, I would assume. It takes about 7 minutes to get to that song. And I just always like the part where he goes on the second verse. Where he goes, "The feeling's just a little bit too strong, just a little bit too strong." Right? That's my favorite part.
And that's the reason we're talking.
Yeah, I like that part. But
all right.
The song is never played.
I'm going to be the voice of reason here. Mm-hmm. This deserves to be underplayed. It is 14 minutes 14 long. Minutes. Mostly a fluffy jam.
It's a jam.
It's got that song element in it, but it's sandwiched in between just some doomy nonsense.
Doomy, lazy nonsense.
You got to wait a full minute to hear a riff.
Yeah.
Okay. And before that, the song is just weird noises and moaning. But obviously, for like more normal people, it's not. It's like a linear little journey here. There's no verse, chorus, and it's jammy.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really feel like a song.
It should have been 3 songs, but they put it into
I don't hear a single.
I don't hear I definitely don't hear a single as the guy said to Johnny Depp.
And frankly, if a Black Sabbath cover band started to play this, I would leave.
Yeah, no Black Sabbath song will ever. No Black Sabbath cover band will ever play this song. They don't. Yeah, they're not.
This is what we should think of. What would you do if you saw a shitty cover band play?
I would be like, wow, you're really playing that? I would watch them play it really bad.
Maledictus would stay.
There's a possibility they could play it because it's on the first. And folks, this is the only song. Spoiler: this is the only song you're gonna get from older Black Sabbath. This is it. It was a hard decision, folks. So yeah. All right, let's go with number 8. This is now we're moving all the way towards the end of Ozzy era. Megalomania from the Sabotage album, which is a great album. When song starts with a slow, trippy ballad in the first half. But my favorite part, I would say, is in the second half, where it kind of picks up into a more aggressive mode, and it's kind of another Ozzy, fringe-wearing tambourine shaker. But the riff is kind of like this pre-thrashy kind of jin, which is very different for Black Sabbath. Black Sabbath has started to become a very different band here, right? That's nothing you would ever hear in their first 4 albums. And basically they close it with that riff. You'll notice a lot of later Black Sabbath songs have like different movements to them.
I mean, I'm going to agree here. This is one of my favorite songs. I can understand why it doesn't get a lot of play. It's like over 9 minutes, and it starts slow, which is going to turn off some people. But I think for a long song, this is like one of the most compelling long songs you can find. And it's not lazy at all. There's no jamming, as we just mentioned. No. It's extremely orchestrated.
Yeah.
There's a lot of lines I love in here, like, why doesn't everybody leave me alone? And it's got piano and cowbell.
Yeah, there's cowbell.
Suck me.
There's cowbell in that thrash part too. It's just they've got cowbell. Christopher
Walken. There's just a lot of great moments in this song.
It's a fun song. It's a big arena song, right? One thing you'll find in these later Black Sabbath songs, they're tighter. They're not as blazy or jammy. They're not doing that anymore. They're not they're not doing that thing anymore, right? All right, next song, 7, Spiral Architect, from the Sabbath Bloody Sabbath album. This song has no metal qualities whatsoever. It's extremely melodic. Has the chorus of the song channels very Beatle-like energy, which they were all fans of, obviously. Complete with orchestrated strings. Imagine that, strings in a metal band, right? Or what would be considered a metal band. Following a very heavily orchestrated wordless bridge without lyrics. This song comes back to the verse only with like more augmented strings. A lot of strings in this song. And that's my favorite part, I would say, when it kind of comes back with the full orchestra. The last verse. I'm
going to say I vaguely agree that this should be underplayed. This kind of song, it kind of feels like off-brand, off the Sabbath brand.
Well, they all do that.
It sounds a lot like The Who.
Yeah, it does. Sure.
And, I mean, it's not right sound, but I just feel like it doesn't scream Black Sabbath to me.
None of these songs really do. The Black Sabbath you're used to, right?
I mean, other things do, like Megalomania certainly does.
Yeah, it's a little more metal, right?
But this one, I don't know.
Yeah, The Who is a good comparison. Maybe they hear The Who and they're like, well, they're making hits. Let's do that, right? Now to number 6 with The Writ from the Sabotage album. This song I'd say is like the official gateway into the latter days of Ozzy Sabbath, right? It has this big arena, huge sound, and with this tom-based beat under Ozzy screaming probably what might be his vocal limit. Like he's really screaming high here, very high notes. The song at the same time sounds very angry, like you're almost like shouting someone down. There's a lot of angst in this song, despite the upbeat kind of nature of it. The latter half of the song retreats into more gently, sparkly kind of acoustic part under more like apologetic and empathetic vocals, right? So the theme of the song kind of changes. The song's kind of bipolar, you would say. But my favorite part of the song is the beginning. It opens with that phasey bass, then you have that big beat, that bum bum, and an interesting Easter egg here. If you listen closely at the end of the song, it seems to be some sort of secret song. And this song is the last song, Sabotage. So you hear this sort of like, if you listen closely, you hear this sort of like faulty.
Some little ditty at
some little ditty that they must have just, been doing a lot of coke. A
little silly ditty.
Yeah, a little silly ditty, right?
All right.
Yeah.
My opinion on this is honestly, I'm not sure if I even heard this song before Maledictus made this list. And when I was listening to it, I'm sure I started it and stopped listening to it. Yeah. There's just nothing that sticks out to me super much. I don't think it's bad, but it just doesn't, stick in my brain, make an impression. I did like the riff they play over and over in the mid-song area, but it's just very meandering and long.
Yeah,
again, it's over 8 minutes. Very ridiculous magical light part.
It's magical. That's the word for it. Magical.
But yeah, I'm not sure. I've listened to it now for the show. I'm not sure I'm going to listen to it again.
It's one of my favorite Black Sabbath songs.
I feel like I love Sabotage, but I think by the time I get to the end of the album, I feel like I don't need to finish it.
It's a great album-ending song.
Okay.
All right, the next song. Now we're getting to later Black Sabbath territory. Number 5. Over to You on the Never Say Die album. We're deep into Cocaine Sabbath at this point, right? That's all they think and do, right? They're spending all their money on coke at this point, right? I really dig the organ. This song is a Black Sabbath that's going to start using like organs and synths and pianos and stuff. And this is one of those songs, and it makes me really like Black Sabbath that they're kind of expanding their palette there. My favorite part, I'd say, is the pre-chorus. It's a very dominant and catchy bass lick with, has this classical piano company, and that's a glissando, you said? That's a right. That's a glissando.
You reading my notes?
I didn't know. I saw glissando in your notes, and I was like, "What is a glissando?" I was like, "Oh, that's a glissando."
I think that might be it.
Yeah, I think you're right, because it's when you flow on the piano like that, and it's a very different Sabbath that you remember from 9 years previous. It's a totally different Sabbath here with Ozzy.
I'm gonna give a light agree that this is maybe a little bit underplayed. I can kind of understand why it is, though. I feel like the production on it's just not as big feeling. It doesn't not have that epic feel that I feel like a lot of Sabbath people expect from Sabbath. It just is a nice song, It's also very dramatic, as we mentioned, piano glissando.
Yeah, it's very orchestrated. I wonder who was responsible for that. I don't know. Number 4, You Won't Change Me on the Technical Ecstasy album. This song, of course, starts with keyboards. Very dominant keys in this song. A lot of keyboards, a lot of synths. It's almost a preview of what's to come with Ozzy's solo career in a way. A lot of synths and that. The song has a tragic feel to it, right? The verse is very tragic sounding. More big, huge drums here. That big arena sound. You can hear the cocaine in this song, right? There's just coke all over these albums. It's probably in the tape. Coke dust got in the tape when they were recording it. It's everywhere. And it really is a different band here.
I agree. This is a great song, and I think it deserves a little bit more play. It does have like a slow start, but it's got that very big, classic, dumb sounding riff. Mm-hmm. It's got another great Ozzy line. I'm just a man, and I am what I am.
He wasn't.
I'm gonna point out all the good Ozzy lines.
He wasn't on the lyrics. He wasn't.
I like that. That's what he is. He's Ozzy. He's just a man.
He's a dumb dude.
And it's big, slow, and emotional. It's a little bit of a thinker, I think.
Yeah, he's given into his inner thoughts, his inner feelings here. Mm-hmm. Right. Number 3, All Moving Parts from the Technical Ecstasy album. This next track has kind of a funky feel to it, right? I think there's even a clavinet in there. You know, like
what is a clavinet?
That's okay. So you know the Stevie Wonder song, "Baby Superstitious." That sound, bam, 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 bam. It's like an electric harpsichord in a way.
I didn't know that was a special instrument.
Yeah, it's called an Honor clavinet, made by the Honor Company. Yeah. So anyway, it's a very catchy melody. It has a very distinct melody. This song, right? A very bluesy kind of melody there. The song seems trying to listen to the lyrics, it sounds kind of political, like it's referring to some sort of current event scandal in London or something at the time. I don't know what he's talking about. It sounds like he's talking about someone in the media, right? You know, like most songs on Technical Ecstasy, so this track has a bit more of an interesting song structure, you know, as most of the songs did back in that era of Black Sabbath. It has a very distinct bridge that's almost like a different song within the song.
I have definitely never listened to this song before this episode. And my first reaction when I heard it was to say, what the hell is this?
What the hell is this?
It's like Funky meets Blues Daddy.
Yeah.
The opening is so grating when Ozzy comes in. Oh my God. Hard disagree. This should not be played ever.
Folks, Maledictus is full of hot takes. He came up with this whole theory that all these unplayed Black Sabbath songs are way better than those doomy Black Sabbath songs that everyone tells you you're supposed to like. Yeah, I like these songs better. This is real Black Sabbath, folks, for real Black Sabbath fans. All right. Okay, number 2 is a song. Ready, folks? Hot take.
This is the hottest take.
Hottest take. Well, she'll tell you when she heard it. So. It's all right on Technical Ecstasy. That this is a ballad. Okay, so you know, folks, how when the Beatles would let Ringo sing, and maybe some people didn't like those Ringo songs. You know, like.
Did you?
They were better for kids. As a little kid listening to Ringo, I enjoyed the Yellow Submarine. Because it's about a yellow submarine, right? In the town when I was born.
Nope, we're not singing.
Right? But yeah, as a kid, you like Ringo Starr. But as a grown-up, you probably don't like Ringo Starr, right? You like John Lennon. You like a little more edgy thing, right? Anyway, this song is they let Bill Ward sing in this song. And I don't think Bill Ward sang many songs for Black Sabbath, not that I'm aware of. And it's one of my favorite Black Sabbath songs ever.
Oh my God.
Nothing metal about hot take. Nothing metal about this song at all. It's a piano song, as if Elton John could have sang it, right? Like, you know, this could have been an Elton John song that maybe they, you know, it was written for Elton John originally, right? And folks, there's a video on the song. I'll put the link. You know, I didn't realize it was a video, but you know, and you see him. He's back there singing like he's Peter Criss or something behind the drums. My favorite part of the song, of course, is all the oohs and the ahs, of course.
Of course.
Interesting fact, Guns N' Roses actually covered this song on their Spaghetti album, that one that no one listened to. Very bad, terrible. Don't even listen to it. It's terrible. But interestingly, they covered this song, this very obscure Black Sabbath song for most people. Anyway.
All right, me living in the real world, I've never heard this song before, and I'm sorry, but the vocal is bad.
Yeah.
The vocal is bad,
Right.
and it's especially bad considering you have Ozzy in the band.
Ozzy didn't sing this song.
Bill Ward, you want to write a song? Just let Ozzy sing it. It'll sound better.
No, we have to let Bill Ward sing this song.
I have no words for this song.
This song should have been sang.
It's bad. It's a poor song. And I agree it sounds like Elton John. But Elton John would never do this song because it's not good enough for Elton John.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't have done this song. It's not a good ballad in the world of ballads in the 70s.
So why is it one of your favorite Black Sabbath
songs? For Black
songs?
Sabbath doing something so different that where Ozzy isn't singing. I think Bill Ward sings it well. Like I like that they're letting this drummer guy do this song. I think it's wonderful. I think it's beautiful. Ozzy's a great singer. There's no doubt about it. Ozzy is a very good singer. You can't deny that. And you know, this song isn't really his song. Like this is not a song that Ozzy should do. You know, I think just the voice of Bill Ward works very well for it. Next song, number 1.
Number 1.
What is number 1, folks? What is number 1? I'll tell you what it is. Junior's Eyes on the Never Say Die album. Why? The first time I heard this song, I almost kind of thought it sounded like a Duran Duran song, which is a weird analysis for this song. It might be my favorite Sabbath song ever. I think it might be. The verse, has very unique, melodic quality for what you're used to in Black Sabbath. It's got this standard bass groove, powered verse. Basically it's bass dominated, and over it you got this kind of Iommi riffage. Kind of just in chords. It's a very interesting kind of take. I'd say my favorite part though is like the drum fill he does on the fourth bar of the chorus. It's kind of like this big kind of beat he just throws in there, and it works.
It's very specific.
It works. Yeah, it's very specific. I'm hearing every little instance of this song in my analysis. I'm hearing every little note, and I'm analyzing them. And I like that part.
Wait for the drum fill.
Yeah, so look at that. That's a cool drum fill, right? So yeah, I'm into the very intricate details of some of these songs. I also dig that tambourine shaking bridge part. It stands around the 3-minute mark of the song, and gives you once again, this song gives you that big arena sound, and it has that big epic ending. The only thing that you needed at the end of the song was like a big gong crash, like it's got that. It's got a great ending.
I agree. I think this one's a little bit underplayed. I like the funk bass.
Yeah,
it's a good song. It's got a real powerful chorus. It's good.
Yeah,
I think most people like this song.
Yeah, I think most people would probably like this
I think most people would agree that this is an underplayed Black Sabbath
song. It's not too much of a hot take, this song. I don't think so. So, folks, what did we learn here today? We learned that
that you were too much of a hipster for the popular Black Sabbath albums.
It's me having an unpopular opinion. I'm not trying to do it to be cool or anything. These are songs I've always liked. I've liked these songs for most of my life.
But it seems like you like a lot of these things for like weird reasons that aren't like you like the Bill Ward song because they let the drummer sing, and that seems to be a big part of the component
of
why you like it.
I like it because he's different than Ozzy. Like it's a different take from Ozzy.
I mean, it doesn't sound like Black Sabbath.
No, that's what's great. It's a band doing something so different that you're like, what the fuck is this? Like people always like got on like Metallica or something for doing something different, but this is like 1,000 degrees like hotter than that, right? It's a band just not being stiff, and some might call it a decline of Black Sabbath. Some might call it like, oh, what are you guys doing? You're becoming rock stars. You're just, you're doing so much coke. You're just in a decline. Maybe that's true, but
I mean, why do you think there is less popularity associated with, say, the rock and roll era?
I think by this point, Black Sabbath was changing their sound, trying to compete with other bands.
A lot of experimental stuff going on.
Yeah, they're trying. There's a lot of prog rock.
Weird song formats.
Yeah, different. Much more complicated, writing faster songs. I think they're growing. They grow as a band, but they would go through other eras and they would change again. But that's what was going on at the time. And I think they really wanted to adapt to that, just like a lot of bands do. Some bands don't ever change. Or some bands change very little. Like I could say, like Motorhead kind of changed very little as their time went, right? But I like a band that changes and does something weird. And it's to a point where you don't have to call them like a doom band anymore. It's like this is not a doom band anymore, or a proto doom band anyway. And then they would change to something else. Yeah, not at all. There's nothing. You would think it's a completely different band. Hearing something from Technical Ecstasy versus Paranoid, or Black Sabbath, the first album.
But you really want to hear a Black Sabbath cover band do "It's All Right"?
That would be that if a band pulled that off, I would be very impressed with their enthusiasm in the entire Ozzy Black Sabbath catalog, right? And I would be very impressed with that. If they did it shitty, I would be like, all right, well, at least they tried. Because I've never seen any kind of cover band ever try to. They're just gonna do Paranoid and Sweet Leaf and whatever and War Pigs. That's all they're gonna do. Because that's what they think everyone wants to hear. But I'd be the only weirdo in the audience being like, yeah.
Everybody does want to hear those, and Maledictus wants to hear something else.
Mm-hmm. I'm a weird dude, folks. I live on a different planet than the rest of you. Okay, like it or not. All right, I can't help it. All right, I'm not a metal normie. I like weird things, folks. So yeah, that's what we learned. Black Sabbath didn't really start getting good until Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. And
I disagree with that. I think their for earlier material was good and high quality.
Yes.
I would agree a number of those songs, though good, are overplayed. And they do get a little tiring despite being very good when you hear them so often, whether it be on whatever boomer rock radio or seeing a local Black Sabbath cover band. Did you know that there's like some kind of hipster Black Sabbath cover band? I think they call themselves like Black Sabbath cover band rehearsal.
Oh, really? No. What's this?
They played St. Vitus recently.
Oh, what?
They're like a super group, I think.
Yeah, and they just play.
Sorry, I haven't done any research. I just popped in my head.
They play like Black Sabbath songs, or
yeah, I think so.
just regular ones. Just,
I don't know. That I don't know.
all right.
I've no research.
Maybe they play like songs like that, that I'm talking about here. Yeah, but folks, I'm being mean when I say like Black. I'm just being like, But yeah, I like these songs better than the first half of the Weed era of Black Sabbath, I would say, because I obviously grew up on those original songs and just got really tired of them. Then as I got older, I met this Black Sabbath nerd that really showed me these songs, and he's also in a very terrible Black Sabbath cover band.
It doesn't play these songs.
Does not play these songs, but I think he wants to, but just his band is probably not. I mean, you have to really have the okay with everyone else. But yeah, and I just they're different, and I like when a band just decides to push it and do something different, and that goes for all you bands out there. Just do something different, folks. Just surprise us, right? So it's important that we have maximum creativity at all times, and we never stop. So yeah, folks, that's our top 10 of underplayed Ozzy Black Sabbath songs, folks. And I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe you have some comments about it. Say if you like the song, say if you don't like it. And folks, once again, we made a playlist, because obviously we can't play the songs on here. I know it seems stupid to do a top 10 on music when we can't play the music, but that's that's the way it goes. So yeah, check that out, folks. Links on the bottom, and yeah.
Thank you for watching.
Yes, and hopefully we do more top 10s soon, and give us recommendations of any top 10s of metal.